It was just another rainy Tuesday in the heart of downtown Chicago. The city buzzed with its usual chaos, honking cars, umbrellas dancing in the wind, and strangers rushing past one another with no time to spare. Among them, 24-year-old Maya Evans sat quietly on a metal bench outside a local hospital, her clothes damp, her work uniform crumpled from a long double shift at the diner. She wasn't waiting for anyone. She was just resting her aching feet, trying to summon the energy to walk home. She didn't know that in the next hour, her life would change forever. Inside the emergency room, the air was tense. A young boy, no more than 8 years old, had been rushed in following a severe car accident. He had lost a lot of blood and needed an urgent transfusion. His rare blood type made the situation even more dire. As nurses and doctors scrambled, the boy's father stood by, pale and frantic. That man, Alexander Quinn, was one of the wealthiest tech moguls in the country. But at that moment, he wasn't a billionaire. He was just a father, terrified of losing his only son. The hospital put out a desperate call, they needed a B-negative donor immediately. But time was running out, and no one was responding, until a nurse stepped out and saw Maya sitting alone. "Excuse me," the nurse said breathlessly. "Do you know your blood type?" Maya blinked, confused. "B-negative. Why?" "Please, there's a little boy who won't make it unless someone donates. You could save his life." Without hesitation, without asking a single question, Maya rose. She followed the nurse in, signed a few forms with trembling fingers, and gave her blood. No one told her whose son she was saving. She didn't ask. She only knew someone needed help, and that was all that mattered. Afterward, she lay quietly in the recovery chair, pale but calm. No cameras flashed. No thank you speech was made. In fact, no one even told her what happened to the boy. They thanked her and let her go. She walked out of the hospital alone, back into the rain. Life didn't change for Maya. She kept waiting tables, working nights, and living paycheck to paycheck in her small apartment. Her mother, who had been battling diabetes complications, continued needing care Maya could barely afford. But she never complained. She believed kindness was its own reward, even when no one noticed. 2 years passed. At Quinn Technologies' newest charity gala, an exclusive event attended by CEOs, celebrities, and politicians, Alexander Quinn stood on stage, his voice echoing through the elegant ballroom. 2 years ago, my son, Ethan, wouldn't have survived if it weren't for a stranger's selfless act. She didn't know who we were. She didn't ask for money. She didn't even wait to be thanked. Tonight, I finally found her. The massive projector behind him lit up with a photo, Maya, caught mid-shift at the diner, her hair in a messy bun, taking someone's order. Gasps rippled through the room. No one expected the billionaire's hero to be a waitress. Back in her tiny apartment, Maya had no idea her life was about to change. She was folding laundry when her phone rang. "Hello, is this Maya Evans?" a calm, professional voice asked. "Yes," she answered cautiously. "This is Alexander Quinn. I believe you saved my son's life." At first, she thought it was a prank. But minutes later, a black SUV pulled up outside. 2 men in suits escorted her to a private jet hangar, where a smiling boy, now healthy and energetic, ran up and hugged her tightly. Behind him stood Alexander, eyes full of gratitude. "I've been looking for you," he said softly. "I owe you everything." Maya was speechless. "I want to show you something," he added. He handed her a thick envelope. Inside were documents, a full scholarship to any university of her choice, a deed to a new apartment, and a check she couldn't even process at first. $1 million. Tears streamed down her face. "Why?" she asked. "I didn't do it for this." "I know," Alexander replied. "And that's exactly why you deserve it." But there was more. At the next Quinn Technologies press event, Maya was introduced as the new head of their community outreach division, a position created just for her, where she could use her heart and story to help others. Suddenly, the girl who once gave silently was now leading programs that built shelters, funded education, and provided free healthcare across the country. In an interview that later went viral, a journalist asked her, "Did you ever think donating blood would lead to all this?" Maya smiled, eyes glistening. "I didn't do it expecting anything. I just knew someone needed help." Kindness is a ripple, sometimes it comes back bigger than we ever imagined. From that day on, Maya's story traveled far beyond Chicago. Her face became a symbol of quiet heroism. Students quoted her in essays. Talk shows invited her. But she never lost who she was. She still took the bus. She still visited her old diner. And every month, she donated blood, because she knew that somewhere, someone else might be waiting. The billionaire's son she once saved. He called her Aunt Maya and told his friends she was his hero. In a world often obsessed with wealth, appearances, and power, one young woman proved that the most valuable thing anyone can give is compassion. And she gave it freely, without ever knowing it would come back to her as a miracle. Because kindness, when given selflessly, always finds its way home.